Assalamu alaikum. This is Shahrukh Mujumdar welcoming you to the English news from Btv-Chattogram. Let's begin with the top stories. Chief Adviser Professor Muhammad Yunus calls upon to cast a yes vote in referendum to build discrimination, exploitation and oppression-free Bangladesh. Verdict for crimes against humanity case against 8, including former DMP Commissioner Zia Rahman, to be announced tomorrow. Government moving forward to implement Teesta mega project with Chinese cooperation, says Environment, Forest and Climate Change Advisor. Education advisor urges students to build lives on ethics, tolerance and empathy. '90th birth anniversary of Raater President Zia Rahman today. BNP takes oath to institutionalize democracy and rebuild destroyed economy, says BNP Secretary General. At least 39 killed and dozens wounded in high-speed train crash in southern Spain. And Bangladesh beat Bhutan by 4-1 in SAF Men's Futsal Championship in Bangkok. Viewers, those were the top stories. Now moving on to the details. Chief Adviser Professor Muhammad Yunus has called upon the people to cast a yes vote in the referendum to be held alongside the parliamentary elections on February 12th. He made the call in a video message to the nation this evening to build Bangladesh free from discrimination, exploitation and oppression.
প্রিয় দেশবাসী, আসসালামু আলাইকুম। জুলাই গণঅভ্যুত্থান জাতির ইতিহাসে এক অসাধারণ অর্জন। এটি অপ্রত্যাশিতভাবে জাতির জীবনে গণতন্ত্র, ন্যায় বিচার ও মানুষের অধিকার প্রতিষ্ঠার সুযোগ এনে দিয়েছে। এই লক্ষ্যে আমরা এর মধ্যে বেশ কিছু সংস্কার করেছি। আরও গভীর ও সুদূর প্রসারী সংস্কারের জন্য দেশের সকল রাজনৈতিক দলের ঐকমত্যের ভিত্তিতে জুলাই সনদ প্রণয়ন করেছে। এই জুলাই সনদ বাস্তবায়নের জন্য আপনাদের সম্মতি প্রয়োজন। এর জন্য গণভোটের আয়োজন করা হয়েছে। এই গণভোটে অংশ নিন, সনদে আপনার সম্মতি দেন। আগামী 12ই ফেব্রুয়ারি জাতীয় সংসদ নির্বাচনের দিনেই অনুষ্ঠিত হবে গণভোট। গণভোটে আপনি হ্যাঁ ভোট দিলে বৈষম্য, শোষণ আর নিপীড়ন থেকে মুক্ত হবে বাংলাদেশ। গণভোটে হ্যাঁ ভোট মানে তত্ত্বাবধায়ক সরকার ও নির্বাচন কমিশন গঠনে সরকার ও বিরোধী দল একসঙ্গে কাজ করবে। সরকার ইচ্ছামতো সংবিধান পরিবর্তন করতে পারবে না। গুরুত্বপূর্ণ পরিবর্তনের জন্য জনগণের সম্মতি নিতে হবে। এতে আরও বলা আছে, বিরোধী দল থেকে ডেপুটি স্পিকার ও সংসদের গুরুত্বপূর্ণ কমিটির সভাপতিরা নির্বাচিত হবেন। একজন ব্যক্তি সর্বোচ্চ 10 বছরের বেশি প্রধানমন্ত্রী থাকতে পারবেন না। বিচার ব্যবস্থা স্বাধীনভাবে কাজ করবে। সংসদে নারীদের প্রতিনিধিত্ব বাড়বে। ক্ষমতার ভারসাম্য রক্ষায় পার্লামেন্টে একটি উচ্চ কক্ষ গঠিত হবে। আপনার মৌলিক অধিকার আরও সুরক্ষিত হবে। রাষ্ট্রভাষা বাংলার পাশাপাশি অন্যান্য জাতিগোষ্ঠীর ভাষাও সাংবিধানিকভাবে স্বীকৃতি পাবে। দণ্ডপ্রাপ্ত অপরাধীকে রাষ্ট্রপতি ইচ্ছেমতো ক্ষমা করতে পারবেন না। সব ক্ষমতা একজন প্রধানমন্ত্রীর হাতে থাকবে না। এবং এরকম আরও কিছু গুরুত্বপূর্ণ প্রস্তাব এর মধ্যে রয়েছে। আমি আপনাদের সকলের প্রতি আহ্বান জানাই, আগামী নির্বাচনে গণভোটে অংশ নেন। রাষ্ট্রকে আপনার প্রত্যাশা মতো গড়ে তোলার জন্য হেঁতে সিল দেন। নতুন বাংলাদেশ গড়ার চাবি এখন আপনার হাতে। হেঁতে সিল দিলে নতুন বাংলাদেশ গড়ার দরজা খুলে যাবে। হেঁতে আপনি নিজে সিল দেন, আপনার পরিচিত সবাইকে সিল দিতে উদ্বুদ্ধ করুন এবং তাদেরকে ভোট কেন্দ্রে নিয়ে আসুন। দেশ পাল্টে দেন। ইনশাল্লাহ আমরা সবাই মিলে দেশ গড়ার এই সুযোগ নেব। মহান আল্লাহ আমাদের সহায় হন।
The verdict will be announced tomorrow in the case filed for crimes against humanity against 8 people, including former DMP Commissioner Habibur Rahman, over the killing of 6 people, including student Anas, at Shankarpur in the capital during the July mass uprising. Meanwhile, the first day of witness testimony began today in a case filed against 13 people, including ousted Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, her security advisor Tariq Ahmed Siddique, and army officers over incidents of enforced disappearance and torture in a joint interrogation cell during the rule of the fallen Awami League government. The testimony began today at International Crimes Tribunal 1, headed by Justice Ghulam Murtuja Mujumdar. At the outset, Chief Prosecutor Muhammad Tazul Islam presented the opening statement. On the first day, Hummam Qadir Chaudhary, a victim of enforced disappearance, testified. During the testimony, the victims described the incidents that occurred during the period of disappearance. Earlier, 3 army officers who had been arrested in the disappearance case were produced before the tribunal. Meanwhile, in a case of crimes against humanity committed in Naranganj during the July mass uprising, Tribunal 1 took cognizance of the formal charges filed by the prosecution against 12 people, including Shamim Usman, and issued arrest warrants against the accused. Later, while briefing journalists, Prosecutor Ghazi M.H. Tamim said that the tribunal has ordered the accused to be produced before it by January 26th. On the other hand, at Tribunal 2, in the case over the killing of 7 people, including the burning of 6 bodies in Ashuli of Savar, arguments by the defense are being presented for the 4th consecutive day during the argument stage. In the morning, 8 accused who had been arrested in this case were produced before the tribunal. A court in Chattogram has ordered the trial of 39 accused, including Shonatuni Jagaran Jot spokesperson Chinmoy Krishna Das, the main accused in the murder case of lawyer Saiful Islam Alif. Chattogram Divisional Speedy Trial Tribunal Judge Jahidul Haq gave the order after the hearing today. The court set February 2nd as the date for framing charges against the accused and taking testimony. 23 accused, including Chinmoy Krishna Das, were present in the tribunal. A lawyer was present in the tribunal for Chinmoy Krishna Das, while a lawyer for 16 absconding accused. Lawyers will be appointed from the Legal Aid Office on the next scheduled date for the 22 accused in jail. Lawyer Saiful Islam Alif was killed in a clash over the bail of Shonatuni Jagaran Jot spokesperson Chinmoy Krishna Das in the Chattogram Court building area in November 26th of 2024. In this incident, his father Jamaluddin filed a murder case with the Kotuali police station, mentioning the names of 31 persons. The government is moving forward with efforts to implement the Teesta mega project with Chinese cooperation. Once implemented, the long-standing demand of the people of the northern region is expected to change the area. Environment, Forest and Climate Change Advisor Zia Rahman Hassan today inspected riverbank erosion control and flood management activities along both banks of the Teesta River in Kaunia Upazila of Rangpur. While speaking after the inspection, Zia Rahman Hassan told journalists that both the Chinese and Bangladeshi governments are moving forward with the Teesta project after conducting proper assessments to ensure its sustainability. Chinese ambassador to Bangladesh Yao Wen, a team of Chinese experts and senior officials of the Bangladesh Water Development Board were present during the visit. The advisor and the Chinese ambassador listened to the hardships and demands of local residents living along the riverbanks. Responding to journalists' questions, Rizwana Hassan, also the water resources advisor, said the government should implement the Teesta project while protecting nature and the environment. The Chinese ambassador said the Chinese expert team is already working intensively on the implementation of the Teesta mega project. He expressed optimism that Bangladesh and China would be able to reach a final agreement on the project within this year. Education Adviser Professor Dr. Chaudhary Rafiqul Abrar has urged students to build their lives on the foundations of ethics, tolerance and empathy. He emphasized that the true measure of success in life is not found in academic degrees alone, but in the strength to make sound decisions. He said this as the chief guest at the third convocation of Chittagong Independent University (CIU) held today in city's Jamal Khan area. Dr. Hussain Zia Rahman, chairperson of BREC and former advisor to the caretaker government, was the convocation speaker. In his address, he shared insights on excellence and the responsibilities of the youth in a changing global landscape. Among others, Professor Dr. Muhammad Anwar Hussain, member of the University Grants Commission, Lutfi M. Ayub, chairman of the CIU Board of Trustees, Muhammad Zakaria Khan, chairman of the Education, Science, Technology and Cultural Development Trust, Professor Dr. Mir Muhammad Nurul Absar, Vice Chancellor of CIU, also delivered the speeches. During the ceremony, degrees were conferred upon 168 students from various faculties. To celebrate academic excellence, 7 students were honored with the prestigious Top Achievers Award for their outstanding performance throughout their studies. The speakers collectively encouraged the new graduates to use their education to serve the nation with integrity and to remain committed to the values of humanity as they step into their professional careers. Today marks the 90th birth anniversary of BNP founder, proponent of multi-party democracy and martyred President Zia Rahman Biruttom. He was born on this day in 1936 in Bagbari of Gaptali in Bogura. After spending his childhood and adolescence in Bogura and Kolkata, Zia Rahman moved with his father to his workplace in Karachi. After completing his education, he was commissioned as an officer in the Pakistan Military Academy in 1955. In the 1965 Indo-Pak War, he fought with immense bravery in the Kemkaran sector. He also commanded battles as a sector commander during Bangladesh's Liberation War. Although he began his career as a soldier, a defining feature of his life was that in every national crisis, he emerged repeatedly as a savior of the country. Zia Rahman founded the Bangladesh Nationalist Party (BNP) nearly 4.5 decades ago in response to the needs of the time. The political party he established is now recognized as one of the country's largest political parties. A detailed 2-day program has been announced to mark the 90th birth anniversary of BNP founder and former President Zia Rahman. According to the announced program, floral tributes will be paid at the mausoleum of Zia Rahman in Shoribangla Nagar at 11 a.m. on January 19th. On that day, the party will also arrange floral offerings and a special prayer. At a press conference, Ruhul Kabir Rizvi said that top party leader Tariq Rahman will be present at the tribute-paying and prayer program. In addition, various service-oriented initiatives, including prayer gatherings and voluntary blood donation programs, have been undertaken to mark the day, which will be observed throughout the day. On the second day of the program, January 20th, at 11 a.m., BNP will organize a discussion meeting on the colorful and eventful life and political philosophy of Zia Rahman. Senior leaders, including members of the party standing committee, will be present at the discussion meeting. Meanwhile, on the occasion of the 90th birth anniversary of BNP founder and proclaimer of independence, Shaheed President Zia Rahman, leaders of the BNP and its affiliated organizations paid tribute by placing floral wreaths at the mausoleum of Shaheed President Zia Rahman. After paying tribute, BNP Secretary General Mirza Fakhrul Islam Alamgir said that the leaders of the BNP and its affiliated organizations have taken an oath to institutionalize democracy as well as rebuild the devastated economy. He said that through this oath, the BNP will implement the ideals of Shaheed President Zia Rahman in Bangladesh. Regarding the election, Mirza Fakhrul Islam Alamgir said that the BNP's concerns have been placed before the Election Commission. The Election Commission is working competently and it will be able to conduct the election properly. Later, leaders of BNP Dhaka Metropolitan North and South Jubodol, Shechashabok Dol, Chhatrodol, along with various social, cultural and professional organizations, paid tribute one by one. Earlier from the morning, the entire mausoleum premises were filled to capacity with leaders and activists on the occasion of the 90th birth anniversary of Shahid President Zia Rahman. Now international news. At least 39 people have been killed and dozens of people have been wounded in a high-speed train crash in southern Spain. A Madrid-bound train derailed and crossed over to the opposite tracks, colliding with an oncoming train in Ademuz on Sunday. It happened at 19:45 local time, about an hour after the train left Malaga. Most of those killed and injured were in the front carriages of the second train, which was traveling south from Madrid to Huelva. Transport Minister Oscar Puente says the crash happened on a straight part of the track, calling it extremely strange. Meanwhile, rail company Iro says the relatively new Madrid train, built in 2022, was inspected 4 days ago. Iran's president warned yesterday that any U.S. strike on the country would provoke a harsh response and that any attack on Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei would be tantamount to a full-scale war on the Iranian nation. Masoud Pezeshkian's threats came as the Islamic Republic's judiciary hinted that it may go forward with executions of people arrested amid the recent unrest, which seems to have quelled after a violent crackdown. The statement came a day after U.S. President Donald Trump called Khamenei a sick man in an interview with Politico and said it's time to look for new leadership in Iran. It appeared to be the first time Trump had called for the end of Khamenei's rule in Iran, despite having repeatedly threatened to attack Iran if the regime were to start killing protesters. Trump has held off on any immediate military action against the Islamic Republic. He has moved U.S. military sets into the region but has not specified what he might do. 24 active forest fires are tearing across southern Chile, forcing more than 50,000 people to flee their homes and killing at least 18 people, authorities have said. President Gabriel Boric said Sunday that 18 deaths were confirmed, but we are certain that this number will rise. The president also imposed a new nighttime curfew in the hardest hit areas. Security Minister Luis Cordero previously told reporters at a press conference that 16 deaths had been confirmed in the Biobío and Nubel regions. Biobío and Nubel, central southern regions located about 500 kilometers south of the capital Santiago, have faced the blaze's worst effects. Boric declared a state of emergency in both regions earlier on Sunday, writing on X that all resources are available to contain the fires. The declaration allowed Chile's armed forces to start pitching in.